Today on Matt's DIY Home Show, we're gonna take this, some rough poplar, and turn it into all of these. Finished posts and railings for my house. This stack of kindling is what I have to turn into posts for my railings. I started this a few years ago and made the mistake of trying to do these out of leftovers. I've ended up with a mishmash of parts that will hopefully turn into finished posts. The general idea behind this project is craftsman style posts painted white with black wrought iron pickets. Since I had all these parts cut out already, rather than starting over, I just continued on. I guess we'll find out if that was a mistake together. I should explain how I thought these were going to work, and what's already been done here. These posts will be made up of a few components. What I'm assembling here is the outside frame of the post. 2 frames will get made for each post, and then a middle wood pieces will end up joining the 2 halves together. This is where it's a stupid design. I will then have to have some sort of middle core sized exactly so that the 2 sides and the middle pieces will be joined together. It's a huge pain. I'll have to figure this out as I go. I cut wood spacers to make sure the recessed areas of the post are even across all of them. Once all the halves are assembled, I'm using my planer to even out the top face of the glued up panel. This planer makes an even thickness and does a good job of flattening the top face. Everything right now is still oversized, so I'll be using the planer a lot during this project. A quick trial assembly lets me know what size interior core I'll need. The core is going to be made out of this Baltic birch plywood. I'm cutting it into strips here and will need 4 strips for each post. 2 sides are getting recesses cut into them, which will allow me to glue them up without any sides of the plywood showing on the finished post. To do this, I need to do 2 cuts, 1 vertical and 1 horizontal so that the plywood would just slip inside. The inset part of the posts then get cut, and I quickly check to see if the frame will fit on top of them. This is where this is a little bit of a stupid design. These posts need to fit into the frames extremely tightly, but also not too tightly. Now, you're probably wondering why I'm building these at all, and it boils down to 2 things. One is that I couldn't find craftsman style posts for sale pretty much anywhere. Some of the custom stair places can build them, but I didn't even bother asking how much they cost. The second is that the posts and stair components are exceedingly expensive for what they are. And, as we've established on this channel, my toxic trait is thinking that I can build absolutely anything. All right, I'm just about the end of my leash here. I don't know why I took on this project. I should have just bought posts, but I don't know. I'm months into this now because I did a whole bunch of this before I even started doing these videos. So I guess I gotta finish it. We're almost done the posts here and we're gonna have to see how they turn out once it's all glued up. I'm not terribly happy with how things are going. I hope I don't regret all this by the end of this video. I did a quick mock-up of the full post and it was time to glue them together. The post cores are much longer than they need to be, so I have plenty of flexibility in gluing these. As you can probably tell by how late this video is, it should have been up last week, this project is really kicking my butt. I expected this whole thing to be done a few weeks ago, including the install. Watching glue dry isn't fun, and neither is waiting for it to dry. With all the glue ups in this project, it took 2 weeks to get to where I am right now, working 3 to 4 days during the week. I guess this is the time to ask. If you like projects like this, consider hitting the like and subscribe button. It really helps motivate me to continue producing these videos when I'm in projects that really suck. I really appreciate every one of you guys. Once all the posts are glued up, it's time to plane them down to final size. For each thickness setting, the post needs to go through twice, once on size A and size B. Then the planer needs to be lowered the exact same amount, and then sides C and D need to be run through. Each time the post makes a trip through, I added the markings back on so I could keep track of what is happening. I think they went through probably 3 times per side. I really wanted to have a square post and not a rectangular post. After cutting the post to rough length, they were finished. Next, I moved on to the half posts. These go anywhere the railing meets a flat wall. For those of you that don't know, this is how a rough cut board out of a sawmill gets turned into the wood that you can use in projects. First, it's run through a jointer. Between the flat tables is a cutter head that makes sure one face of the board is flat across the length and width. It doesn't have to be perfect, just good enough that as it is squished down in the planer, it stays flat and doesn't bow. All of these pieces are for the back of the half posts, so they are rough cut to length, since the shorter the board, the easier this process is. Then they get put through the planer, which smooths the opposite side of the board. Boards are run through multiple times on both sides, and each time the planer takes off more and more material until it is the thickness that's needed. Next step is back to the jointer, but the board is run through on the edge to make one straight edge. The second edge is cut on the table saw, which makes this board now completely straight, flat, and an even thickness. It is a ridiculous amount of work just to get to a board that looks like I could have bought it at Home Depot. Next, I can actually use it for a woodworking project. For the half post, this process is easy. Just glue the face frame and the board that we just made. I glued up all of them together because I have a serious lack of clamps, like every woodworker. With that, all the full and half posts are complete. You'd think we'd be done at this point, but no. So I messed this one up a bit, so you can see it's flush on this side. But then if you go down to this side, it's a lip here. So what I'm gonna do is use a flush cutting router bit to slice this side off so that I can just run it on the table saw. The other ones are fine. I just screwed this one up, so I'll just fix that. With all of that, all of the full and half posts are complete. You'd think we'd be done at this point, but no. However, this is the time that I started to feel better about this project. It actually looks like what I wanted it to, despite picking a ridiculously complicated way of doing it. I cut some inserts and caps and then glued them together. These will get inserted into the posts to cap them and hide the bolt that's going to attach these posts to the floor. I used a drill bit and a hole to index them together so that they were centered. I wanted a bit more of a detail on these posts themselves, and also to hide the joint between the caps and the posts, because they're never going to line up 100%. So I thought a rabbet would be nice to provide a bit of relief detail. Oh no! Which would have been great if I set the router to the right depth in the first place. I'll have to fix this screw up later. The cap needs a bit more work to fit in snugly, but overall it was exactly what I was looking for. Okay guys, today we're back in the shop. We got all the posts all laminated up, so they actually look really good. I'm quite happy with these. It's a giant pain in the butt, but it actually ended up working out pretty well. So the tops are removable, kinda. So they fit in, they're marked somehow so that they fit in here. Inside the post itself, there's a space for a hopefully metal post that I'll be able to use to mount these into the floor. And so what I'm going to end up doing is having a metal post come through and then being able to bolt through here to actually bolt them to the floor rather than having to use a dowel or something like that that's a little bit more awkward. So these are good. There's some spaces on it. This one's actually really good. There's some spaces that I'm going to touch up on these inside the pockets here, which you probably can't see with the light. Cracks from where it didn't quite glue up. So I have some body filler here that I'm going to end up using. So all the full posts are done. So all these, I have 4 of these. And then I also have a bunch of half posts, and they need some tops, and that'll just give us a good post on the wall. Automotive body filler is great for anything that you need to paint. It cures hard and fast. Usually you can sand within 30 minutes. But I didn't use enough hardener in this, so I ended up having to wait overnight. Oops. It does stink incredibly, so if you're trying to use it in a house that you're currently living in, beware. Almost all of this will get sanded off in the next step. I cut this block to perfectly fit in the pockets and sand everything. It's at this point that every face, edge, and corner gets sanded out. Does different camera angles make sanding interesting? If it does, leave a comment below. I don't think it does, so here's the fully sanded post. Remember how I messed up routing that half post? I just filled the area with Bondo, sanded it down, and now I'm rerouting it. This is going to be protected with a small cap, so it'll work fine. If it wasn't, I'd have to glue in a wood block and do the same thing over again. Okay, here's what we're looking at here. We got a lot done. All these posts are done. These go against the wall, and then the full post at the bottom of the stairs and stuff like that at the top of the stairs. So all of these are done. They're all sanded. They're all ready to go as I knock that one over. Let's take a look at what the whole assembly ends up looking like. We have the full post here. The railings are gonna attach into here. We have the half posts. We have our pickets. I bought these. These are iron pickets that are nicely powder coated. Then we have the railings. These haven't been actually shaped yet, but I have railings for each. And then we have these, which is called a shoe. The shoe, the railing goes into the bottom here, if I can do this while holding a camera. And then the top of the railing gets a hole drilled into the actual railing. That's going to be how this all goes together. I need to shape these railings. I have a router bit to put a nice round over the top. So first thing I need to do is I'm going to sand all these shoes out. So nice edge, nice round over. All right, so I finished sanding all of these. I put a round over on them. So all the shoes are done. All right, so we have the top railings. So what we need to do here is put a profile on top of this railing so that it's a little bit nicer. Okay, so this is the profile on the top. I'm actually quite happy with this. Now, traditionally, this side would be tapered down through here, but I do not have a router bit to do that. So I'm gonna look at what other options I have. I marked a 7-degree taper on both sides. I think this is nice, but I don't know if I should go more. So I'm just gonna set my table saw to 7 degrees, and then we'll run it through, flip it around and run it through again. So let's try it out, see how it looks. All right, I'm actually quite happy with this. It actually looks good. I think that combined with a decent round over at that corner, I think we're good. I'm just gonna repeat that process over for all the rest of them. So I'll go and I'll batch route all these, then I'll batch cut them. I may cut them first because I think I have enough of a shoulder here that the router bit will run on it. All right, guys, first operation done. All right, so this one wasn't great. I got a lot of tear out here on this side because of the direction that I was traveling. It would have been better for me to use the power feeder. Takes it at a very constant rate through it. But what I'll do is I'll sand this out and then I'm gonna fill it. I'll fill it with Bondo and then just sand it back down and you're not gonna be able to tell. All right, I got it filled. So this does need to be sanded, so I'll be able to take a lot of the machine marks out of it with the sander. That's the other advantage of the power feeder, is it makes sure that none of these marks happen because it keeps steady pressure on the top of it, which I can't do with something this long. So all in all, I should have just used the piece of equipment that I just paid a lot of money for. Okay, we're back in the garage. Yesterday I tackled all the railings. I got them all sanded out, so they're actually looking really good. So I'm quite happy with these. They feel really good, which is more important than anything else, actually. So at a couple places, I think it's on this one. Then I did a repair, so I need to sand that down. But otherwise, all of that stuff is done. All the posts are done here. So what I'm gonna do today is set it all up and give you a look at what this looks like. So for logistical purposes, I used a short rail between the two because the long rails, they just wouldn't go up with just me doing this. You have the post, it's gonna get attached into the bottom. There's gonna be a metal post that goes inside of it so that I can screw it down. Then you have the shoe that's gonna bat up against that post. It's gonna go in the middle rather than outside. Pickets slot into the square holes there, and then inside the rail, I'm gonna drill round holes to fit the end of the pickets into it. These are gonna get attached in most likely with dowels, maybe with bolts. Obviously, this needs to come up a little bit so that this post actually, or the picket actually fits in. So I'm actually quite happy with this. It's quite tall here. You can see where it hits me here, mid-hip. I'm 6'4". What was there was about here on me. So if you hit it, it felt like you were gonna go over top of it. But overall, I'm really actually quite happy with this and how it's laid out. Let's lay up the angled piece. I'll show you what that looks like. So this is gonna be something like this. The shoe has angled holes in it so that the pickets will go straight up and down. This top rail will need to get cut to that angle, top and bottom. There's lots of flex with height on this because I made this bottom extra deep. That's why this here is a lot longer than the one over here. And then that's matched to here. I hope you guys enjoyed the build of all these railings and getting them ready to go in the house. Next step is to get this all over to the house, get it fitted and get it all cut down and then painted and installed. So that'll be the next video. If you guys like this video, please like and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.